Will anyone volunteer to do the Mangalacharan for today? Hare Krishna.
I think you will have to do the Mangalacharan Eastern started recording.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu, you are audible.
Okay. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhitam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Titanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining today's discourse. We are doing Canto 3, Chapter 5, Text 41, and the chapter. So Vidura talks to Maitreya. Will anybody volunteer to read the Sanskrit and word-to-word translation today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is it okay if you put the verse up? Is it possible?
Let me try. Not really. Mataji is the only person who is able to share.
You can. I've just put it that multiple participants can share. Just put it up, please, Eastern Prabhu, because the purport is also very long. In the interest of time, as you are putting it up, I can read the text and then somebody can read the translation and purport.
Okay.
So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 5, which is Vidura's talks with Maitreya. And the text for today is text 41. And it goes, Markanti yate mukha padmadnidas chandha suprane prasyo vivakte yashyaga mar soda sarit varavya padan padam tirtha pada prapanyam margati searching after yat as te your mukha padma lotus-like face nidha by those who have taken shelter of such lotus flower chandaha Vedic hymns supranaha by the wings Rishya, the sages, Vivekta in clear mind, Yasya, whose, Ahamarsa that which offers freedom from all reactions to sin, Sarit, rivers, Varahya in the best, Padam Padam in every step. Tirtha Pada, one whose lotus feet are as good as the place of pilgrimage. Papanaha, taking shelter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Indusa Mataji, are you able to do the translation on the Papa today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think I can do the purport. Right. So sure. Okay. The lotus feet of the translation by Divine Grace of the part the lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimages. The great clear-minded sages carried by the wings of the Vedas always search after the nests of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter at the base of rivers like the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions. Purport by His Divine Grace. The Paramahamsas are compared to royal swans who make their nests on the petals of the lotus flower. The Lord's transcendental bodily parts are always compared to the lotus flower because in the material world, the lotus flower is the last word in beauty. The most beautiful thing in the world is the Vedas or the Bhagavad Gita because herein knowledge is impacted by the personality of Godhead Himself. The Paramahamsa makes his nest in the lotus-like face of the Lord and always seeks shelter at his lotus feet, which are reached by the wings of Vedic wisdom. Since the Lord is the original source of all emanations, intelligent persons, enlightened by Vedic knowledge, seek the shelter of the Lord, just as birds who leave the nest again search out the nest to take complete rest. All Vedic knowledge is meant for understanding the Supreme Lord, as stated by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Vedaischa sarvai aham eva vadia. Intelligent persons who are like swans take shelter of the Lord by all means and do not hover on the mental plane by fruitlessly speculating on different philosophy. The Lord is so kind that He has spread the river Ganges through the universe, so that by taking bath on the holy river, everyone can get relief from the reactions of sins which occur at every step. There are many rivers in the world which are able to evoke one's sense of God consciousness simply by once bathing in them, and the river Ganges is the chief amongst them. In India, there are 5 sacred rivers, but the Ganges is the most sacred. The river Ganges and the Bhagavad Gita are the chief source of transcendental happiness for mankind. An intelligent person can take shelter of them to go back home, back to Godhead. Even Sripada Sankaracharya recommends that a little knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita and drinking of a little quantity of the Ganges water can save one from punishment of Yamaraj. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for taking us through the translation and the Papa. I don't know if Mataji has arrived yet. Will you, as we wait for Mataji to join the class today, will you be able to give us a realization of the shloka and the purports that you have just read to us? Dr. Muga, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, did you tell me to see some realization or something else?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes. For me, what I get in this verse, especially, is just awakens the urge to want to really one day at least step into the river Ganges of India, among others, including Yamuna and other great fortresses. These rivers, however, uh, it says they are purifying and it can eliminates sinful activities even from the previous lifetime. And all I can pray, and even for all of us in this particular group is, and this course, this sangha is, at least in this particular lifetime, now that we have the knowledge about such powerful rivers, cleansing, purifying rivers, we can take advantage of that knowledge. And maybe I hope one day, one of each and everybody listening to this can one day have the chance to even take a seat at the same way in the purpose of such great rivers. But before that, since we don't have access to such rivers, what we have access is the Bhagavad Gita, as it has been said. So it's a challenge for me, especially, to really get into these transcendental books, especially for the knowledge. But also, these books, I love them because it's not just the knowledge that you're getting, it's also a part of purification. Just as we're reading them, you're also cleansing us. So there's cleansing your activities, like the Bhagavad Gita. So for now that we're in Kenya, we can really take advantage of this holy pilgrimage of Bhagavad Gita. And yeah, that is especially what I just challenged me to know in this class. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for sharing your realization. Will anyone else love to share their realization on this shloka today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Before anybody does that, Dinesh Prabhu, is it probably okay for you to contact Mataji? Is she joining in or is she delayed? I don't have my phone with me.
Okay, let me know to contact.
Yeah, we can continue with sharing realizations. Eastern Prabhu, over to you.
Would anyone like to share their realizations? Gayatri Mataji, do you have any realization to share today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, by reading this purport, actually, yes, Srila Shankaracharya recommends in that song, like we have this song where we say Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. So we have to chant Govinda's names. So always chant Hare Krishna. That's what even Shankaracharya also recommended. And also he's talking about Ganges and the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. In that song it says Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Jita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita. So that means if someone understands little bit of Bhagavad Gita, and if they live that life understanding the Bhagavad Gita, and also if someone can have a little bit of a drop of Ganges, if they can drink a drop of Ganges, Kanika Pita, then their life will be very much like elevated. So that's what Shankaracharya is saying. So that meaning, like and also in some scriptures they say the Ganga water will only cleanse the physically Ganga water can cleanse. So but when we read Bhagavad Gita, it cleanses the real, spiritually we get elevated, and it cleanses our all this malina, all these what we have like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all those kind of bad qualities we can get rid of those bad qualities within us, and we can live a better purified mental state, and we can live in a better life. So that's what I understood, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the realization. Hare Krishna, Mataji, I see you have joined the class today. Thank you so much for taking your time to take us through the shloka today. I offer our respectful obeisances on behalf of every Vaishnava who has joined for today's class and who will join, and who will also hear the recording later on. And thank you so much. I will hand over to you so that you can take us through the shloka. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you everyone for joining today's call. Let's get started. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshe Shunyavadi Paschaita Deshyatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayanam Namaskrityam, Varam.
Naram Jaivam
Naram
Narayanam
Shaivam
Namaskritam
Narotamam Yam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Srinivata Swagata Krishna Punya Shramana Kirtanaha Hridayantastoki Abhadrani Vidunoti Sugrit Satam Nashtapraheshu Agat Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. All right. So let's get started, dear devotees. Such a beautiful verse for today. I'm sure you all read the translation, and then you also inferred the meaning of the verse. So 3.5. Okay. So here it is being talked about the lotus feet of the Lord. By themselves, they are the shelter of pilgrimage. Again, for today's verse, the parts of the body of the Lord is being described here, right? So here, we should understand that, when we have the eyes anointed with the love of Godhead, our vision is totally different. And now our vision is totally different. Okay. So let's get to the verse and understand a little bit of, again, what is the opulence of the denizens of Vaikuntha, or, when it comes to Lord's lotus feet, how is it being worshipped by, and, what are some of the relevant stories with regards to that? This is something that we'll see in today's class. So, so the lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of his lotus-like face. So this verse is very much focused on lotus, right? So today we are going to be meditating on the aspect of the Lord which is connected with lotus. So we will start with the lotus feet of the Lord and then go all the way up to the lotus face of the Lord. That way, every part of the Lord, we will try to focus on meditate. Again, the purpose is, we want to understand how it has been, how this lotus is connected, right? When it comes to every part of his body, we always compare it to the lotus, and we have to understand, the connection of the lotus, understand what is the beauty of the lotus, which is often, connected with the Lord for that matter. So like that we will see. First, the feet of the Lord, they are called the lotus feet. It is called Padmak Pada or Kamala Pada. Devotees, what do? They meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus feet has so many beautiful markings on them. The lotus itself, the lotus feet of the Lord, there is the soul, there is a marking of the lotus, right? It symbolizes the spiritual awakening. And then there is a thunderbolt or the vajra, which denotes or destroys that. There's this power of ignorance or destroys the ignorance. There is a flag or dvaja, which represents the victory of the material world. And there is umbrella, which embodies the primordial sound and purity. And there is disc or a chakra, which symbolizes the mind and the cycle of time. And then when it comes to lotus feet of the Lord, there is also fish or matsya, which indicates alertness and ability to move freely. And barley corn represents prosperity and spiritual nourishment. So we are going to meditate on the lotus feet of we are going to meditate on a beautiful pastime of the Lord, which involves his lotus feet. So now, this is the pastime of Lord Ram delivering Ahalya, right? By putting his feet on Ahalya, who was a stone. And then by the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, or by the dust of the power of the lotus feet of Lord Ram, she got delivered again and she got this original form. Now, Ahalya was cursed by Rishi Gautam. He told her something very interesting. He says, I have cursed you because your intellect has become like a jada or a stone. And I don't have this ability to revive your intellect, right? So I don't. So he's saying, I have cursed you because your intellect has become stone-like, jada. And I don't have the ability to revive your intellect, which is stone-like in nature. Only Lord's lotus feet, Lord Ram's lotus feet, that can do it. So when Lord Ram, along with Vishwamutra Muni, he came to Agalya and he put his lotus feet on the stone became conscious again. And it started glorifying the Lord. Again, Agalya, she started glorifying the lotus feet of the Lord. So Agalya says, my dear Lord, I have sinned and I have this defect in me. So what is that defect that Agalya has? The defect of Agalya was she was seeking attention. See, again, if you look at us, everybody is always seeking attention, right? If you take a scenario, so we either marry Gautam or we marry Indra. Gautam represents austerities, and then Indra represents enjoyment. We either get married where our intelligence can get married to enjoyment or it can get married to austerities. Most people marry their intelligence to enjoyment, which means, okay, how can I use my intelligence so I can enjoy more and more? But ideally, this intelligence has to be married to what? It has to be married to austerities. This is what we should use our intelligence, like how we can do more and more austerities. So Agalya, she's praying to Lord Ram that my mind has become like a bumblebee. What is it doing? See, we all know this bumblebee is not stable, right? It's hovering from one flower to another flower. Similarly, my mind is also not stable. It is hovering from one flower to another flower. For what? For enjoyment. So she's praying to Lord Ram, my dear Lord, let my mind, let it become stable. Instead of hovering from one flower to another flower, let it just settle on your lotus feet. This is my prayer. Let my mind become stable and then it should settle on to the lotus feet. So the bumblebee, when it sits on the lotus flower, it gets the highest level of nectar. It doesn't have to go and search for the nectar in another flower because it's got the highest nectar, right? And that is why she is praying like this. So for Agalya, when Ram comes all the way to Janakpur, the dust from his feet, it is erasing all adharmic desires from Agalya's mind, right? And similarly, our mind is also like Jada. It is also stone-like. But our mind has to become or get life or have life. And for that, we need to take shelter of Lord Krishna. So the moment we take shelter of Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, the mind, which is very agitated, which is just always roaming around, it becomes stable. We all talked about Quresh, right? He was a great disciple of Ramanujacharya. We've spoken about him in previous classes too. He lived in Kanjipuram and he is a great king. And we all know he had so much wealth that every day he would give charity all day long, all night long. And when the door was shut, the sound of the door of Quraysh shutting it, it would be so loud that in Vaikunta, even Lakshmi Devi could hear it. So she wanted to find out who's this person whose door is shutting now, and I can hear that. That means he gives so much wealth in charity, and Lakshmi Devi got attracted to him. Lakshmi Devi gets attracted to such a person who gives so much in charity. Then she looks at you. Oh my God, who's this person who's doing this? I may have $100. If I'm able to donate that $100, that means Lakshmi Devi will look at me because all I have is 100. And if I donated that in charity, what a big heart I have. Isn't it? And she wanted to find out who this person was, who's giving so much wealth in charity. So eventually, Lord Quraysh came to know about Lakshmi Devi being impressed by him. And Quraysh said, I'm not here to impress anybody. Let me give away all this wealth and go away and perform austerities to please the Lord. This is what the intelligence should be used for. So he gave all the money, all his palace, and he walked free with his wife towards Lord Ranganath, towards Sri Rangam. On his way, right? On the way, his wife was a little scared. And Quraysh asked her, are you carrying any money with you? She said, no, I'm not carrying anything. I'm just carrying one cup that's made of gold so that I can feed you in that cup, Quraysh. And Quraysh said, throw it away. And by that, you will become fearless. And many days passed. So they lived in absolute richness, we all know. And they were so rich, they were not subjected to poverty at any stage in their life. His wife is asking Quraysh now, are you feeling sad? Are you feeling bad that you don't have anything now, Quraysh? And Quraysh says something very beautiful. He says, I have 2 golden bricks. My hand is on the 2 golden bricks. And what are these 2 golden bricks? That is the lotus feet of Lord Ranganath. My hand is on these 2 bricks, and I don't need any more wealth. I've got the highest wealth in this world. This is the understanding of great devotees. What they do, they take shelter of lotus feet of the Lord. And that is what is described in today's verse, lotus feet of the Lord. Everybody takes shelter of lotus feet of the Lord, and they feel, whoever knows the Mahatmya of that, they feel that they have the greatest wealth in the world. Now, we've seen the lotus feet, right? After that comes the navel of the Lord, which is known as Kamalanabi, Padmanabi. The navel of the Lord is very interesting. It is a very special place for the Lord. Now, there is a beautiful thing, if you go to traditional temples in South India, uh, all men are supposed to remove their kurta, remove their shirts. They are supposed to go shirtless. And one devotee, he asked another devotee. He was a great acharya. He asked him, why are these devotees supposed to remove the shirt like this? And this acharya gave an interesting explanation why they remove the shirt when they go to the temple of the Lord. He explained that the Lord gives birth to a lotus from his navel. The whole universe is created within that lotus stem. When this universe is destroyed, everything goes back to his navel. And this cycle is an eternal cycle. And therefore, one of the Lord's names, if you call it, it is called Ananta Padmanabhan. The lotus comes out of his navel, the creation happens, and everything goes back into his navel. He just is explaining this with a concept of medical terminology. He's telling, see, there is this concept called stem cell technology, where they have found out that the concept known as stem cell technology, where they have found out the cells from the umbilical cord of the baby, it's considered to be very good for treating many, many diseases, including cancer. So, because these cells inside the umbilical cord, they are multipotent, they have potencies, they can, they can take the form of any organ in the body and they can replace any tissue in various organs in the body. So, if an ordinary human's umbilical cord has multiple potency, then what to speak of the cord that is originating from the navel of the Lord, that is the lotus navel of the Lord? How much potency can it have? The cord that comes out of the lotus navel of the Lord, how much potency can it have? So every living entity that is created by the Lord only from his navel. And therefore, since he is giving birth from his navel, the source of the navel of the Lord, right? Everybody, the whole world is the source of the navel of the Lord. Therefore, when you go in front of the Lord, you should go without a shirt, which indicates that I'm nothing in front of the Lord. It's a symbolic gesture, basically, right? We have 9 holes in the body and 9 holes. 30 things come out. But the navel is the hole from which nothing comes out. But for the Lord, the whole universe comes out from that hole. And Lord is Hiranyagarbha, one whose navel is very beautiful. We know from Kunti Maharani's prayers, right? Namo Pankaja Nabhaya, Nama Pankaja Maline, Nama Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangrige. She offers respects to the navel. Who is Kunti? She is the aunt of Krishna. So she doesn't start her prayers from his feet. She starts from his navels, offering obeisances. So because if she starts from his feet, it will be very embarrassing to Krishna, right? My aunt is falling at my feet. So she directly starts from navel and offering prayers through her navel. Nama Pankaja Nabhaya, the origin of the lotus flower where Brahma is born. Nama Pankaja Maline, the Lord is decorated with his lotus garland. Nama Pankaja Netraya, his eyes are like lotus petals. Nama Pankajangre, the feet, whose feet is engraved with lotuses. So they say, why is lotus very important to Krishna? Very important. Because Krishna is always glancing at the lotus. Because Vrindavan is a form of a lotus flower. Every time he glances at a lotus, he remembers his favorite abode Vrindavan. And Vrajavasis are like these bumblebees tasting the honey of the lotus flower. And Krishna is always looking at the lotus flower, remembering Vrindavan, remembering the Brajavasis who are like bumblebees. So the abdomen of the Lord, this is the place to meditate on in such a beautiful way. Here, there is a quote of a beautiful story, right? There's once upon a time, there's this saint whose name is Divakar Muni. And this saint used to worship Saligram Shila. And one day, small boy came to the saint, and the saint is so attracted to this little boy. He didn't know where he came from, and he got madly attracted to this little boy. And he told this little boy, "Can you stay with me?" And the boy told the saint, "I will stay with you on one condition, that you should not question whatever I do. Anything I do, you should not question." And the saint said, "Do anything, but stay with me only. And I'm not going to question you anything on what you do." And this boy, he was doing so many naughty things, and the saint really kept quiet. He didn't say anything. And one day, this boy did the most naughtiest thing, and the saint lost it. Of course, he couldn't tolerate it. The boy started shouting at him. The boy said, "You shouted at me?" The saint started shouting at this boy. And the boy is like, you're shouting at me? Now I'm going to go. And then he disappeared. Before he disappeared, the boy told him, "If you want to find me, come to Anantan forest." And then he disappeared. And when this boy disappeared, the saint understood that this is the Supreme Lord he is worshipping. And the Saligram Shila himself has come. What did this boy do? This boy did the most naughtiest thing of swallowing the Shaligram Shila. And he ate that Shaligram. So the boy put it in his mouth, and because of this, the saint couldn't tolerate it and he shouted at him. And now, before he disappeared, he said, this boy told this saying that if you want to find me, come to the Anantan forest. He was madly searching, where is this Anantan forest? He didn't know where it was. And he was roaming one day, madly trying to search for this forest. And he came across a small hut in which husband and wife were quarreling. And this husband, in great anger at his wife, he said, if you don't know what I say, I will send you to Anantan forest. The saint immediately ran inside his house and said, can you please tell me where is this Anantan forest? And husband showed him the way to Anantan forest. And the saint went and reached Anantan forest. And he saw the little boy standing over there. And the saint began to run behind this little boy. The boy ran and finally he disappeared into a tree. And when the boy disappeared into the tree, the entire tree fell down. It was not an ordinary tree. The tree was 9 miles tall. Imagine how huge the tree was. And when that entire tree fell down, which was 8-9 miles long, it got converted into a wooden form of the Lord lying on the snake bed, Anantasesh. Such a massive deity it got converted to. And Divakar Muni said, how am I going to worship such a big deity? He prayed to the Lord, my dear Lord, please become small for me. And he asked me, and the Lord asked him, why should I become small for you? Or the Lord asked him, how small do you want me to become? That was what the Lord asked him. And the saint, he threw a stick, he had a danda, and he threw the danda on the floor and he said, become 3 times the size of this danda. It's a huge tree. Now that got reduced to 3 times the size of that particular danda the saint wanted. And the form of the Lord reduced in size 3 times of the stick. And he is Ananta Padmanabha. In Trivandrum today, this particular deity is worshipped even today. The Lord is known as Padmanabha because the lotus originated from his navel. And this form of the Lord is still being worshipped today. So now, what did we do so far? We meditated on the lotus feet of the Lord. We meditated on the lotus navel of the Lord. And now we are going to meditate on the lotus hands of the Lord. So dear devotees, this is what devotees do all the time. They just meditate on each part of the body. And that's because it's anointed with love, as I said. And that's where we need to get to. Okay. So the lotus hands of the Lord, they are known as Kamala Hasta. The lotus hands, they are meant for protection of devotees. Krishna, as Arjuna's charioteer, he is holding the reins in his hands. He is using his lotus hands to steer the chariot and to protect Arjuna. In the same hands, it is steering the destiny of the devotees. In Gopi Gita also, gopis pray about the lotus feet of the Lord. Sorry, lotus hands of the Lord. That is what they do. The gopis pray, oh best of Vrishnis, your lotus-like hands, which holds the hands of goddess of fortune, grants fearlessness to those who approach your lotus feet out of fear of material existence. Oh lover, please place this wish-fulfilling lotus hands of yours on our head. This was a meditation that the gopis had in Gopi Gita. When, if you look at Ramayana, on the other hand, when the Vanaras were moving towards the south to search Mother Sita, Lord Ram, he placed his hand on all the Vanaras. Every single Vanara that came to Lord Ram touched them. Some of them he touched on their backs, some of them he rubbed on their heads, some of them he patted on his shoulders. So the Vanaras, they were feeling so happy, so ecstatic, being touched by lotus hands of Lord Ram. And as all the Vanaras left from Kishkinta towards the south, they came to a forest. It's a very, very intense forest. And they were feeling so much heat. They were feeling thirsty. They were feeling hungry. They were suffering from the heat of the sun. But there was only one person who was not affected by the heat of the sun at all. And that was our Hanumanji. The only reason our Hanumanji did not feel the heat of the sun is because when Hanuman left and Lord Ram touched him, Lord Ram, he placed both his hands on the head of Hanumanji. And Hanumanji, what did he do? He closed his eyes and absorbed that meditation. He absorbed that feeling of both of the hands of Ram on his head. And from that time onwards, he felt the cooling shade of Ram's hands on his head. And therefore, he never felt the heat of the sun at all. This is exactly the type of meditation even the gopis are doing for Lord Krishna. Place your lotus hands on our head. We all know Nashing Dev. Nashing Dev, he has this beautiful, we always sing this beautiful prayer, right? Tava kara kamalavare. We sing that prayer almost every night, right? Every time when we do the arti. Adbhuta Shingam, he has wonderful claws. Dhalita, he destroys, he crushes demons like Hiranyakashipu. Thanu Bringam, and his body is compared to a wasp or a bee. If we go a little deeper, the bumblebee is very attracted to the lotus flower. The lotus petals are so soft and so delicate. Now, this bumblebee, if you look at it, it's so powerful enough to penetrate a wood. That is the power of this bumblebee. But the bumblebee gets entrapped when it gets mesmerized by this lotus flower. It enters into the lotus flower and is sitting there in the lotus flower. In the evening, what happens? The lotus flower is closes and the bumblebee, it can easily penetrate the layers of the lotus and come out. But it's so mesmerized by this lotus flower that it remains inside the lotus flower and dies in the lotus flower only. So the Tavakara Kamala, the lotus hands of Nrsimhadev, they are so soft and delicate when they are touching the devotees. But the same lotus hand of Nrsimhadev, when it's on the body of a demon like Hiranyakashipu, it can crush on him. That is why there is a comparison of the lotus flower and Nrsimhadev's hands. Right? We all know about the Hiranyakashipu, how he is being killed. Nrsimhadev tears open Hiranyakashipu's bellies with his lotus hands. And after he opens with his lotus hands, he's like a fire at that time. He's so angry. He's filled with that emotion, feeling of anger, that all the gods, devatas, they wouldn't go next to him. They were so scared of him. They told Prahlad, these devatas, they were feeling so scared to a point, they told Prahlad Maharaj, you go and deal with him. You only invoked him. So Prahlad, he goes softly to Nrsimhadev and Nrsimhadev, he gives so much love to Prahlad, he picks him up and puts him on his lap. And then Lakshmi Devi approaches Nrsimha. He picks her up and puts her on her other lap. All the devatas, they are standing over there, watching this. They don't want to go next to him at all. But Nrsimhadev is telling them, come, come, come. He's calling them. If you don't come to me, he tells the devatas, if you don't come to me, I will come to you. And the devatas, they understand Nrsimhadev is really kind and merciful. He's calling us. Now, if you look at Andhra Pradesh, near Shekandrabad, near Hyderabad, there is this deity of Nrsimhadev, which is exactly doing, he's called Vava Swami. Vava in South Indian language, Vava means come, come. He's calling everyone basically, come, come. So the lotus hand of the Lord, it's just, it's something for a demon and then it's something else for a devotee. So if you look at the temples of the Supreme Lord, he's offering benedictions to the devotees. He's having this Abhaya Mudra. He's offering benediction to devotees. On the other hand, he's showing his lotus feet. In one hand, he's giving a benediction to the devotees, and other hand, he's pointing to his lotus feet. So we will never find Lord who's merciful than this. I will give you blessings, you come. And what should you do? You take shelter of my lotus feet. This is what it is. This is the mood of the Lord. And his hands are used to calling the devotees to take shelter of his lotus feet. So now we have seen lotus feet of the Lord, the navel of the Lord, and the lotus hands of the Lord. We are going to now see the lotus heart of the Lord, Padma Hridaya. Now we all know that Lord is residing in our own hearts. Every single person in this universe, every entity in this universe, Lord is in the hearts. Lord is in the hearts. He's standing or sitting in a lotus flower. He is called Jananivas. Jananivas means the Lord is residing in the hearts of Jana, all of us. Jana means all of us. Lord resides as Paramatma in all of our hearts. In which form does Lord reside as Paramatma in our hearts? In the four-handed form. But it actually depends. We would say that it, is residing in the four-handed form, but it actually depends on your meditation. The Lord resides in the heart of the devotee depending on what form of the Lord you meditate upon. If you meditate upon Bal Gopal form of the Lord resides in your heart as Bal Gopal. For Yashoda Mai, the Lord resides like that, in that form. For Hanumanji, the Lord cannot reside in any other form other than Lord Ram as Paramatma. For Bali Maharaj, the Lord can't reside in any other form other than the form of Vamanadev. The heart of the Lord is Jananivas. He is in that form you meditate upon. So one time, Lord Krishna, he was in Dwaraka and he called Garuda as his carrier. And he told Garuda, call Hanumanji here. I want to meet him and tell him that let him to also come to Dwaraka. So Garudji goes to Hanumanji and tells him the Supreme Lord has called you. Hanumanji asks him, who's the Supreme Lord you're talking about? Garudji didn't understand his tattva. He said, Lord Krishna is calling you. Hanumanji said, okay, I'll come, you go. And Garudji flies back to Dwaraka, flapping his wings back. And Garudji is coming back and Krishna is waiting over there. Where is Hanuman? You said he's coming, and where is he? Garudji says, he said he's coming. And Krishna asks him, what did you tell him? What did you tell Garuda? What did you tell Hanumanji? And Garudaji said, Lord Krishna is calling you. That's what I told him. And when Krishna heard this, he said, that's not going to work with Hanumanji. You have to tell him Ramchandra called him. Lord Ramchandra called him. Go and tell him Ramchandra is calling him. And Garuji, so he said, I'll, go, and goes all the way and then, meets Hanuman and says, Garuji is calling. I mean, and then says Lord Ram is calling him. And then Hanuman goes. So this is what he is. Hanumanji has so much attraction for Lord Ram and he always meditates on his lotus feet, and that is his Ishtadev, right? At any point in time, that is whom his heart is with. Lord Ram, all the time. He just keeps telling Lord Ram, Lord Ram, Lord Ram. So Krishna resides in the heart of the devotee in the form you meditate. And that is why he is called Jananivas. So what did we do now? We meditated on the lotus feet, lotus hands. Sorry, we meditated on the navel, lotus hands, and the heart, lotus heart of the Lord. So we can now go to lotus face of the Lord, which is Padma Mukha. Right? The lotus eyes of the Lord, they are called Pundarikaksh. So there are so many beautiful names of Lord, and one of the names of the Lord is Pundarikaksh. So there is a story that goes by where, there are two saints, Gobliyar and Gopralayar. There are two saints and they wanted to have darshan of Krishna's pastimes. And they wanted to see Krishna's pastimes with their own eyes. So they went all the way to Dwaraka to witness the pastimes of Krishna in Dwaraka. On the way, they met Narada Muni. And Krishna, has already winded up his pastimes. Narada Muni is telling him, the Krishna has already winded up his pastimes. He's gone back to the spiritual world. No point of going to Dwaraka. And these two saints, they began to cry like anything because they wanted to have darshan of Krishna's pastimes. And Narada Muni pacified them. Don't go, don't worry, don't worry. There is this particular place called Manargudi in Tamil Nadu. So Krishna has revealed his pastimes there. And because of the instructions of Narada Muni, the two saints went to that place, Manargudi, and they started worshipping the particular form of the Lord. They started to meditate. And Krishna revealed these two saints the 32 pastimes of his childhood. Like he just revealed it to them when they started worshipping in that place. And just in front of them, Krishna revealed the pastimes. They wanted to see it with the eyes and they saw it. And the two saints were so happy with Krishna, seeing Krishna's pastimes. They told, "My dear Lord, we want to worship you in this form of Gopal." And Krishna told them, "I will reveal the form of mine as Gopal." And he gave them the small deity of his, and that is called Rajagopal. So in that place in Manargudi in South India, there is that deity of Gopal, that is Rajagopal, which is still being worshipped. And that was the Lord, he revealed his Gopal pastimes, childhood pastimes to these two saints who didn't have ordinary eyes but spiritual eyes to be able to witness that pastime. So that is why Lord is called Pundarikaksha, means one who has lotus eyes. The lotus-like eyes of the Lord is that when you glance at the lotus eyes of the Lord reveals to you the ability, the spiritual ability to be able to see Him. So when we are meditating on the lotus eyes of the Lord, He gives you that ability to see spiritual aspect to things. So the word Pundari refers to Vaikuntha planet or the spiritual world. Pundarikaksha means eyes, which essentially means there is definitely a difference of eyes that we have versus eyes that people have in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, it's said that the Vaikuntavasis, their eyes are always trained to see good in others. But when we look at our eyes in this material world, it is trained to keep seeing faults in others. Constantly keep on thinking about faults. Oh, somebody comes, doesn't matter devotee, non-devotee, what fault he has. That is exactly what our eyes is meant to do here. But in the spiritual world, it's supposed to see, it's always seeing the good in others. That is the vision. So if you are in this material world and if we start developing that vision of not seeing fault in others and seeing good in others, then we will also develop Pundarikaksha ourselves. Develop eyes that is faultless, that we don't see fault in other people. In this way, there is so much that can be meditated upon. As far as the body of the Lord, we started off from the lotus feet to lotus navel, hands, eyes. That's the face of the Lord. So with this, dear devotees, we will end today's class. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasandubhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to all devotees here. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful lesson today. We learned a lot. I could say that because I learned a lot of knowledge from the Vedas, which I didn't know. And I appreciate your time today for taking us through the shloka. If anyone has a question, clarification, feedback, or comment, please be free to share. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for an excellent class today. Mataji, we know that the lotus is the most beautiful flower. I mean, is one of the most beautiful flower. And everything of the Lord is compared to the lotus. But then there are other beautiful flowers with fragrances and things. Why is it only the lotus? I mean, we can say the sunflower is the Lord's face, so there are so many other pretty flowers. I don't know their names, but why is it just the lotus that is considered the spiritual flower?
Mhm.
Because we see Vishnu on the lotus. I mean, everything is connected to lotus.
Yes, as I said, Mataji, it is, I think when I just mentioned, right, the lotus, whenever Lord Krishna glances at the lotus, it's always compared to Vrindavan. I mean, and then the bumblebees surrounding the lotus, they're all the Rajavasis. And again, when it comes to the lotus, it's a symbol of purity and beauty, right? I mean, lotus, even growing in the muddy water, it remains pristine. That represents Lord's transcendental nature. It is untouched by the material world, right? And and that's why again, whenever we compare something in the material world, what we can do is we can only just compare, because that's how we can understand him. The eyes of Vishnu, they are compared to the petals of lotus flower. Lotus flower, I mean, the feet of the deities, they are compared to lotus, as they are told as lotus feet, because meditating on the feet is going to give spiritual blessings. Again, lotus hands, because he sometimes is depicted holding his lotus flower on his hand, and that's something that Krishna does. And lotus navel, it is the lotus grows from his navels, from which Brahma emerges, right? From which Brahma is emerging. And spiritual world, if you look at it, Goloka Vrindavan, that's the eternal abode of Krishna. That's like shaped in the world of lotus flower, further connecting this flower to the divine. And these were all what I said, right? And many deities, if you look at them, they would be representing or sitting on the lotus throne. That shows the flower's connection to the Lord. So hope you got it, Mataji.
Yes. I was thinking more technical. Maybe the number of petals of the lotus is some mandalas or some things like that. And
So the number can vary, right? We can't, I mean, the lotus, each petal can vary with number,
yeah.
but generally, yeah, I think for the most part, this is why
The
we
spiritual
always
world looks like a lotus, and also
correct,
that it's in that shape. So that's why
correct,
lotus is considered the most auspicious flower. Thank,
correct, Mataji.
thank you for the clarification.
Of
Over to you,
course.
Eastern Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Will anyone have a question or a clarification? So, or any comment?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Eastern Prabhu. Thank you so much. Radhika Kasturi Mataji, such a beautiful class. The moment you start speaking, so much to learn, like each and every word I have to note it down. That's how beautifully you start the class. And the comparison of Ahalya's intelligence was so beautiful, Mataji. I never heard that before, which was really, really nice. Like how our intelligence can be like a rock, and how we can get attached to the just enjoyment, but not to the austerities, which was really nice, Mataji. Beautifully explained. Thank you, Mataji, for wonderful class. Hare Krishna. That's all I had. No questions today, but I had to comment on this part because it was really, really nice. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Mataji. Always very sincerely listening to all the classes. You're setting a role model example, which is very nice, Mataji.
No, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Is there any other question? If we do not have any more clarifications, questions, or comments, I will request Kirtika Mataji to kindly end the session today for us. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for this wonderful session today. And I knew the word Pundrik Shaya, but I didn't know the meaning that it was a lotus eye. So that's another thing that I learned new today as well. So let us all unmute and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in glorification of Radhika Kasturi Mataji today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhayeva Pitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki
All glories
jai.
to
Jai.
all
Granth
glories
Raj
to
Srimad
Srila
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna. Thank
See you all
you.
next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.